suffer. It ain't a thing. It's not something you hold. It's not something you scream.
Pratibha Raman from New Sense, and we are here with this show called Startist, where we feature every star who is really making a mark on Instagram and other social media platforms every Saturday. And this is Startist for you. We have with us Anirban Das, who seems to be dabbling with the guitar, who's also a vlogger, he's also a writer. I mean, so many sides to you, Anirban. Thank you so much for joining us. But my first question to you is, when did your love with guitar start?
दिल ने मेरे तेरे दिल से कहा इश्क तो है वही जो है बेइंतहा. Okay, specifically guitar, I think it was probably 7, 8 years back when I was just starting in college, like every young guy's dream to get to play guitar in a band. So it started with that way. It was not serious back then. My love for music kind of stemmed from my mom. So she was a music teacher, and now anyway she has kind of moved on from that profession, and now she's just taking break. So my love for music has stemmed from quite some time back, but specifically guitar and the music, the kind of music that I play, it's probably 6, 7 years back, 2013, 14, I think.
Right. So I'm sure you must have been like this, romantic hero in college where girls swooning over you with you playing the guitar. Was it something like the rock star of sorts?
Well, so because I started almost towards the end of my college, like 2013, 2014, I don't know if it is an exaggeration, but it was kind of like that. But I wouldn't delve too much into the details of that. But yeah, it was good to be kind of, you could say, one of the people who knew to play guitar, be in a band, because our college did not have any other band. So yeah, I mean, if you're just asking from a famous quotient, then probably maybe yes.
When did this TPS band start? Can you tell us more about this TPS band of yours?
Yeah, so TPS stands for the Puncher Shop, and we started this band close to a year and a half back. Um, so, so two of the members, Shajish and I, we go way back, and we were together in one of the organizations. We were working together, and we had our own small band back then, but then we did not have a drummer per se. So somehow we searched and got Gauri on board. We kind of draw our inspiration almost from the same tree, um, which is hard rock, alternative rock.
I saw some of the posts where you were also experimenting with a lot of this Indian music. I mean, would you attribute that to your mom's love for music?
Yeah, partly yes. Actually, majorly yes. About 80% of that comes from the Indian classical side of it. I like Bollywood music. I also draw inspiration from A.R. Rahman and John Mayer alike. So it's kind of like a mix of both styles. My favorite musician is John Mayer. I try to incorporate the blues style in the Indian classical setup. It's not Indian classical, I would say semi-classical setup. And that's how the new music that I create personally has come to light.
Did you not ever think of, getting into films or composing music for films? Did that not occur to you?
Um, Actually, I had a thought, but the problem is that I started with music as a hobby, and it really did not click me that I should take this as a profession, because I had a different line altogether when it comes to profession, and I'm kind of serious with that as well. So yeah, I never thought seriously about it whether I should continue this with films or taking it professionally.
You've termed yourself an Air Force brat in your
Yeah.
post. So, how would you
Yes.
explain that?
Okay. So my father is an ex-serviceman. So he was in the Air Force, and he recently retired last year. And yeah, so that's why I term myself as an Air Force brat. I have lived that life wherein we live in campuses. I've seen stuff like people going through stuff, and even in the family, like we have seen the Kargil War up close. There are some innate qualities like punctuality, sense of respect towards the firm, towards the country. So all that stuff kind of comes from within. So all that thing, I would say, comprise as characteristics of a defense brat, be it Air Force, Army, or Navy.
When you're not a musician, what are you? What is the corporate side of you?
Oh, a lot. Okay, so music is just one side of it. Um, and then, as you mentioned earlier, that I'm a vlogger too. Okay, we'll come to that. From a corporate perspective, so I currently am a delivery manager in Indegene. It's a healthcare firm, and we derive digital solutions for the biggest pharmaceuticals companies in the world. So it includes like Pfizer, BI, all these firms. Like we develop digital solutions for them, and I, uh, in very simple terms, is like a gatekeeper to for the quality and the client relation management. So I'm handling that side of it. I check the quality of the product and also manage clients.
So it must be a
So
tough
that's
task
my job.
balancing both sides, the corporate side and the musician in you.
So yeah, I have actually sort of in my mind have kind of blocked both the things. For example, from Monday to Friday up until 10 p.m. I'm a corporate guy. Like I'm completely into my job, and whatever possible, whatever help I can give the company, I do it. 10 p.m. onwards, it just I kind of go into that zone where I edit vlogs and I create music, and yeah, all that's out, and even weekends. So weekends is completely towards my personal stuff, which includes music, vlogging, etc.
I also see some of your posts where there are phrases written, say something of what
Hmm.
Gulzar has said, or something about
Hmm.
songwriting and things like that. I mean,
Yeah,
where does
yeah,
that come from? Do you have a penchant for
yeah.
reading such stuff?
So yeah, I thought that lyrics has the capability to drive the song from 0 to 100. uh, Nowadays it's kind of difficult because everybody is mostly focused on the beats, the music, and etc. But for me, lyrics is very important, and that's why I read these um, things, read lyrics of different songs and draw inspiration from them, which includes Gulzar Saab as well.
Where do you really hail from, Anirban, if you can talk about your city and your love for the city as well?
Okay, so I have been see, as I said, I'm an Air Force brat, so I've been traveling since my birth. So I come from West Bengal, and there's a small district called Bakuda in West Bengal. Within that small district of Bakuda, there's a small town called Taldangra, surrounded by forests and natural beauty and vegetation. So I come from that place. However, I've been living in Bangalore from the past 10, 11 years. So yeah, I would say I'm partly Bangalorean actually, because I know Bangalore in and out. I love the people over there. The accessibility in Bangalore is like very high. It's I don't have to think too much to get something for myself or get help from someone else.
Since you have a lot of passion for the country because your father has been in the Air Force, as you mentioned, what is that one issue that you think India must really talk about and debate on?
Okay, so see, I from my lens, I would say a lot of issues can be solved if we take care of one issue, which is the population issue in India. I mean, I'm just going a little off track from here. So obviously, we can't do a Thanos because that's
True.
ridiculous. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But but the thing is, we need to find ways to kind of manage population.
In the healthcare sector as well, how do you see this entire vaccination program taking place? Are people really enthusiastic about it? Is India really on the right track?
Things that we are hearing from the authorities, it seems like even they are not sure whether it's going to work for a longer period of time, because they said that after 8 months, you are again back to the same zone. The vaccine only will last for about 8 months to 1 year. I think that's what the last thing I heard. So it's not like your hepatitis vaccine. It's not like your polio vaccine, which will kind of give you like a permanent cure. But yeah, so I think that's what the people are looking for, a permanent solution, which this vaccine does not give, I believe. And that is why they are kind of reluctant to get vaccinated.
Coming back to music, let's hit it with the musical notes when we end it. So what's your advice for those of who are music enthusiasts but are really very hesitant in terms of taking that as a profession, do not know how to balance their professional life and their passionate life, for music?
If you are true to your craft, you should be creating music for yourself. Rest will be taken care of. You really cannot judge whether people will like it or not. You really can. I mean, you can't be too skeptical about it. So my suggestion is just do it for yourself. If you want to do it, you have to find time if you have to do it. And there is no one else better than you to suggest where you can fit music in your life. That's how I would say.
That's really lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. And here's wishing you that your sound of music continues to reverberate through everyone's ears.
Love is a verb. It ain't a thing. It's not something you hold. It's not something you scream.